Hey Lovies, it is officially 2026. Happy New Year. This is Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast with Mystical Charms DBA. I'm going to give the predictions for every Zodiac sign. I tried to get this out a few days ago, but everything was just so crazy going into the new year. Like, it was just back to back readings, back to back, orders and packages and back and forth to my warehouse. And I promise you, I've gotten maybe about, in total, maybe, 20 hours of sleep total in those 3 days, or whichever. No, 5, 6, 7 days. Okay, that's not a lot of sleep. But thank you for keeping me busy. Thank you for, subscribing to all of my channels. Definitely miss you guys. I definitely miss seeing you guys in person. However, things will be picking up again in regards to getting readings done in person. Now, I actually pulled all 12 of these cards about a week ago, and I meditated on every single one of them, okay? And I just, like I said, so busy, but I have overall good energy for 2026 because it's a year one, and it's good for people who are life path 11s, life path 1s, life path 22 and 33s. Really good for new beginnings, starting over, doing better, and etc. So don't be surprised if a lot of good new opportunities come your way, because the energy of this year just happens to be a year of newness, right? Yes, last year was a year of pretty much destruction and chaos and pretty much burning it down and shedding our skin, but this year is kind of like all that regrowth, new growth, healing, right? Starting fresh, and just overall making different choices, whatever that may be. But it's going to be more, toward authenticity, right? The number one means leader. Number one means the self. So we're going to be doing overall, collectively doing what is best for ourselves. And with some of us, it's about time we started doing that. Now, all these cycles repeat themselves. Just look back to last time, you were in a year one, and the decisions that you made then. Also look back to the last time the Chinese New Year was in the horse sign, and the last time it was recently was in 2014. So think back to 2014, and think about some of the things that had developed during that time. Think of the things that you gained. If 2013 was considered a major loss or a major, transformation, or if not even, major destruction in your life, 2014 brought the newness. For those of you who are compatible with the Chinese horse, go back and listen to my episode with the Chinese New Year predictions, and then you'll get a good idea of what's coming your way. Okay, so we are going to get into this 12 card reading for all 12 zodiacs, Aries to Pisces, and I hope you guys have a great 2026. All right, let's get started. So starting off with Aries, and to preface this, I have only used the major arcana of the tarot to read all these. So Aries, you got the Empress, and this is so good because the Empress represents healing, love, stability, beauty, and life cycles. And the Empress on most tarot is pregnant. And she's almost due to deliver the baby, but she's sitting in all of her glory and all of her, her beauty and accomplishments, which is giving me the sense that 2026 for you is going to be the birth of great things, great ideas, new ideas, even the big ideas you've had in you for a very long time, accomplishments ready to come out and be real, or everything to be realized. You're in 2026 really to reap the benefits and, get the fruits of the labor that you have labored for the last couple of years. Okay, 2026 really is going to be your feast year. Aries, even planetarily, you have a lot of planets going into your sign, and which makes you the leader of all these planetary directions. So since you're going to be having the upper hand, and the Empress does come before the Emperor, that you have a lot of control over your good fortune this year. Not to say that everything will be perfect, however, you have a lot more bounce back. If things were to go sideways, I wouldn't expect things to go off the rails exactly, but the Empress definitely denotes to good fortune every step of the way. And since it's a number 3, considering that you can actually divide this year up into threes, like every 4 months, I would definitely check your progress every 4 months this year, so you can actually physically, and visually see the progress that you are making. So have a lot of faith in yourself. You're a lot more royal than you think this year. Next, we're moving on to Taurus. Taurus, you got the Wheel of Fortune, which I think is amazing, because ever since Pluto entered Aquarius, and it has affected you along with your Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo counterparts. The next 20 some years is going to be about transformation and changing the things in your life. And the Wheel of Fortune for 2026 is pretty much denoting that the things that have gone wrong in the past, the things that you have considered to have gone wrong, will be made right in 2026. So that is something very profound to look forward to. I understand that a lot of Tauruses are very analytical, they're very stoic, they're very rational and reasonable. However, this is a year for you to expect those very unexpected good things, the exciting things, and just good fortune all around, and just the good things that come out of nowhere. I understand Tauruses like to walk a straight, fine line, but this year is going to be probably the most, adventurous zigzag you've ever made, and most likely it's not going to be made for you. You'll be making it yourself. You're going to be opening up to a lot of, you're going to be more open-minded this year, and that open-mindedness is going to lead you to a lot of things working out for you, being very financially prosperous, emotionally prosperous, and prosperous pretty much in any way you would like to be. Okay, like I said, this is a year 1. It's time to do what's best for ourselves. And Taurus, you are a sucker for being supportive, but it's time to really focus on yourself. It's not selfish, it's necessary. Now we're moving on to Gemini. Gemini, you got the Emperor, which I love this for Gemini too. All these cards came out, they were all good. I promise you, it's all good for this year. Everybody, there's no excuse. But Gemini getting the Emperor, I love this, because Gemini is usually, you guys are misunderstood as chatty, right? And mindless, and pretty much, scattered and all over the place. Even though that might be true, this year in particular with the Emperor, you are now being able to tactfully project your wisdom into this world, or into the people around you, or into the situations that you're going to be going into. You're going to be offering, if you don't already, because you always offer wisdom, to what you are doing and the people around you. But in 2026, the Emperor represents that you're going to be heard. You're going to be on a higher pedestal. So it's like the things you set out to do, especially for others, is going to matter. You might not want to get yourself involved in everything, because the Emperor is a very discerning, uncle, type of energy, where you have the wisdom because you've already done these things. So in this year, when giving advice, you're going to be split between you knowing who is going to take it and knowing who isn't. So that'll keep you out of a lot of situations where you don't waste your time. But in the situations where you do put that work into, is going to be beneficial, not just for you, but the people that you are giving the wisdom to. You're going to be highly appreciated, for the input that you give. And if you are not appreciated, understand that your input is still important, and pretty much sucks for anybody who doesn't listen. I do see an opening of just information, or just like a hunger for information when it comes to people, relationships, and common sense, and social norms and all that jazz. Your input is very important this year. So definitely just be discerning on who wants to hear it and who does not. You'll save yourself a lot of time and energy, because Gemini, you are going to need your time and energy this year. Next, we're moving on to Cancer. Cancer, you got the Strength card, which I find to be extremely profound, considering you are a water sign and you are a fairly sensitive sign. You got the Strength card, which represents Leo leadership energy. And Cancers, this year is going to be an up and down emotional roller coaster, but in a good way. So when I say in a good way, meaning that this year you're going to be leaning toward more independence. Okay, there's going to be more of you calling the shots this year. It's going to be more of, probably a little bit of a lack of other people's input when it comes to the decisions that you make, right? You might be finding yourself, one-on-one with a lot of things, like just you being involved in a major situation such as moving, how you invest your money, most likely changing of a job, or possibly like the loss of a close friend, not necessarily by death, but it could be by death, okay, or a good friend moving away or moving farther from you than they're used to being, okay, and finding yourself maybe a little bit more alone or just solo this year. And the Strength is definitely indicating that is a part of you that you might not like to exercise, but 2026 is going to really have you stand on your own 2 feet when it comes to the things that are needed for you, and not to depend so much on anyone else's advice. Now, if they give you good advice, good, take it, of course. But it's pretty much telling me that 2026, you know best this year. No matter how rebellious you think you're being, or even unreasonable people think you might be, you know what's best for you, and it's time for you to stand up and just really shout out your needs, okay, and get those needs met for yourself this year, because that is going to be the crux of your success this year. You can't be timid or shy about it. It's really like claw your demands to the face. Next, we're moving on to Leo. Leo, you got the Hermit card. And this is interesting for Leo in particular, because Leo is a natural leader. It's the leader sign, right? It's the lion. It's the head of the jungle. And you got the Hermit card, which is all about, secrets and isolation and just, time on your own and stuff. For you, if this card were to show up for Leo, okay, this has turn yourself into a piece of paper, type energy, right? This is the year for Leo. You're going to shine, but you might not shine physically face forward, okay? You might just need things on paper to be your shining light rather than your pretty smile, okay? It's possible that you could actually turn into Charlie from Charlie's Angels, where people have to go through other, tunnels and avenues, to do things. And if it gets if it's really, really necessary, they have to come to you. But understanding that even from the background, you are still the leader, you are still the puppeteer, you are still in charge. You are still, the manager at the back of the restaurant. You own the restaurant, right? You don't necessarily have to do everything. And that's also one of the teachings of the Hermit. Leave others to do the work that you don't necessarily need to do. give the directions, give the charge or whatever, but you've got to give some of that workload to people who either do it better, do it faster, or can do it in times where you don't have the ability to do it. It's time to be a silent delegator. Not to say that you will not succeed this year. Leo actually is also meant to succeed this year as well, okay? And pretty much career, love, and all that stuff, okay? But you've got to really keep it on a very practical level. Okay, there's nothing wrong with bragging about what you're doing, but it is saying that your silent success will be your biggest successes. Okay, very, very interesting for Leo. All right, now we're on to Virgo. Virgo, you got the moon card, and I love that for you. Okay, because Virgo, you in 2026, this screams, right? Earth energy with water energy. Okay, this screams that you are on a pleasure journey. This is your pleasure journey year. Okay, like this is the year that it's like you get what you want, and everything you want or everything you do has to feel good. Okay, it has to feel good in the matters of the heart. It has to feel good in your physical health. It has to feel good financially. This is your pleasure journey year. Okay, I can expect Virgo to be, doing a lot more recreation this year. Definitely going out a lot more and getting involved in activities that are more catered to the soul of who you really are. Now, of course, Virgo, you don't really have a big problem expressing yourself outwardly, but inwardly, you guys have got to learn that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to have made the wrong move, right? And, you've got to really put yourself in yourself to understand that other people don't really need to understand what you're doing. If it feels good to you, just do it. Okay, because you guys are kind of like breaking the ice this year of getting yourself out of a lot of restrictions. Okay, you might want to reveal your secrets because the moon is about secrets. So it might be time for you to just, come out with it already. Okay, but some of you might feel good this year just going to therapy or going to confession, just confessing everything, becoming a writer, journaling your feelings, trust and believe. Once you let that flow, you can let a lot of negativity go. Libra, this one was on point. So Libra, you got the Lover's card. Like, how serendipitous is that, right? We got masculine and feminine energies where we got Libra with the up and down scales of balance. This is absolutely perfect for Libra. Okay, 2026 for Libra, like, you got this. Okay, because you're another one of the cardinal signs. Okay, you got this when it comes to making decisions. Okay, this has to do with making decisions. Yes, it's the Lover's card, and we want to think about love and relationships and, all that gushy stuff or whatever. But it's really a decision-making card. It is saying that this year, you have to stand on business like you don't even have a choice. Okay, you had to make these cutthroat decisions this year where, like, you need to just trust yourself, okay? Because we are all our own leaders this year. And as indecisive as Libras can be, it's time to just pretty much make decisions that you think are best, okay? Try not to overthink them, but if you think about it, you're basically doing it for the plot if you're not 100% sure. You're never going to be 100% sure. And newsflash, Libra, when everybody makes decisions, we're not 100% sure either. We just make them. Okay, we're not out to be perfect. So Libra, stop trying to be perfect. Okay, life is going to play out for the plot anyway. So just stand on business this year. Okay, stand on business with your money and stand on business with your relationships. Okay, if people need to leave, get them out. Okay, if stuff needs to go, clean it out. Okay, there's nothing holding you back, Libra. You're going to probably find yourself making a lot more decisions this year of all the time, okay, in 2026. So get your magic wand ready and start pointing, because the decisions that are being made they're all on you, okay? Not to scare you, but you got a good card. You got good energy here. Next, we got Scorpio. Scorpio, you got the Hierophant. I actually really like this. Okay, I like this because this is kind of like a slowing down in areas that you feel might be going too fast or too intense. Okay, this might have to do with some physical habits, okay, and with some people that you have in your life. Okay, the Hierophant has to do with two people coming together to really resolve a problem, right? Resolve a situation, to find a way to coexist. And you're doing this for yourself. So you have come to terms with some things that are working in your life and things that are not working in your life, and you're pretty much taking those two things and trying to figure out, how am I going to use these two parts of me to move forward? How am I going to heal the part of me that is hurting? And how can I, enhance the part of me that is, succeeding without one messing up the other, right? Without the one that's hurting messing up the one that's succeeding, and the one that's succeeding not to look down on the part of me that needs healing. Okay, and this is pointing to therapy, definitely probably some physical therapy, like going to like the gym or getting your physical body moving a lot more. I wouldn't say like adrenaline rushing, but it is a slowing down of what others may expect of you. This also points to your physical health, that you are going to be getting serious about your physical health this year. Not to say that anything is wrong, but Scorpio, with your instincts, you understand what preventive care means. Okay, and definitely, cutting down or cutting out on things that might be, physically, bringing you down. You might be getting surgeries this year, or procedures done that are necessary to further your health in a positive way. Okay, because when it comes to also the relationships in your life and the money and finance and career, it is pretty much, lock in, get your head in the game, especially if you felt scattered in 2025. 2026 is asking you to just be a little bit more laser focused, because you're capable, right? You're capable, you're competitive, and you might have been a little scattered, and it's time to just lock in and focus. Just have yourself focused a little bit more. And because of the fact that you're a competitive sign, you're willing to lock in this year. So don't feel like you're being slowed down like permanently. You need to probably just go back and check details that you might have missed so you can become stronger and better and more precise in the end. All right, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you got the High Priestess of the tarot, which I think is amazing. I think it's amazing, and I think it's about time too. I think 2026 is all about this. Okay, Sagittarius being the most wild and free-spirited sign, and you got the High Priestess. Okay, I feel very strongly that you have a lot to teach people on a large scale about the nature of who you are. Your free spirit is going to be a lot more welcomed in 2026, because your free spirit goes against what is considered to be normal. And don't be surprised if you become more of like a celebrity in people's lives when the world in general is changing. Now that we're in this age of Aquarius, right? Being this mutable fire sign, you might have been misunderstood in the past, but I feel like 2026 is going to be the year where you're the most understood sign, okay? And you will be looked at, you be pretty much be enviable, because your free spirit is something you've always had, and people on a collective scale are just now getting the courage to be what you've always been. Right, so people are going to see you as this very interesting, a very loving and very unique monolith, of what the heart space really should be. Not a lot of people misunderstand you as being reckless, but you are actually the only sign that does not have a problem doing what's best for you. And it's almost as if you have tunnel vision this year, where it's like, I can't see what's so special about me because I've always been doing this. But you will be admired. Expect a lot of admirers in the workplace, in relationships, and just in general, for people to just, say like, I need to be more like that, because you carry a carefree spirit. You carry the spirit of, I'm just happy to be here on this planet, and you are going to pretty much give this burst of gratitude into the world this year that a lot of us should have had a long time ago. So you will definitely be seen as a blessing in everybody's lives. So I really hope people appreciate you, because gratitude will definitely be the attitude that will keep you around for sure. All right, moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, you got the Sun card. I love that. I love that for us. Capricorn, the sun represents things shining bright, shining a light on things that you might have thought were overlooked, forgotten about, or things that you didn't think were going to grow. Definitely is a year of seeing the fruits of your labor. The sun card represents, a lot of positivity. Okay, so being pessimistic this year is not going to fare you well, or not going to fare us well, because I'm a Capricorn, Lovies. I was born January 10th. Okay, and the sun card also represents marriage and relationships. Okay, so for those Capricorns who are single or who are technically single, okay, this year is a good potential year to be in a relationship that is happy and making its way toward marriage. Okay, and if you're not planning on getting married, or don't have the option to get married, it also points to having a happy home. Okay, so Capricorns, you guys might be moving to a better home this year, okay, or upgrading to a better job this year, or getting more money, and your career is going to definitely explode into something bigger, okay, and it's going to be the focal point, of your year. It's going to be, a lot more recreation rather than the hustle that you're used to. 2026 is going to be easier, for Capricorn, because Capricorns are the number 10, or technically the number 1, okay? And we work well with that 1 energy. We do what's best for ourselves always, right? But this year, the things that are going to be changing in our life will be upgrading. And we're going to use this to our advantage, of course. But even if things are a little bit tough, okay, we're going to use any plot holes to our advantage this year. It's all about being sharp in the mind, and also taking all these changes as positively as possible. So enjoy that, and I wish the best of luck for all Capricorns who do in fact get engaged or get married this year. Congratulations to you in advance. So now Aquarius, we got the Chariot card. Okay, there's nothing better for an Aquarius to have the Chariot card, because this is movement. Okay, this is ready to go. So Aquarius, you are going somewhere, and you're going fast, and you're going with a lot of support. Your life is moving forward, okay, in a really positive way. I do feel there might be some gunk right in the middle of that, right? Just some annoying gunk, because you still got to deal with people who are not as intelligent as you, but you're still going to move forward nonetheless. Okay, Aquarius, because I understand that, yes, we get it. You're better than everyone. Okay, you're smarter than everyone. But this year, you're not going to let those, let the things that are bothering everybody else bother you. Now, I'm pretty sure you already are doing that. Okay, but you're going to be doing that less so this year. You might not be getting involved, or even, making a lot of stops this year, quote unquote. Okay, you're going to be pretty much plummeting through to your goals. there isn't going to be anything stopping you. Also, I'm seeing that you are going to be less likely taking advice from people who are going to try to show up and give you advice that have not given you great advice in the past. Okay, I do see a lot of, socially, I do see a lot of people falling off of, out of your circle because of the fact that it's like you can see right through them. Okay, you have laser vision this year, and people are not going to take that very well. Either way, it's not going to stop you. So even if you think it might stop you, it is not going to stop you. No one stops the chariot. Nobody and nothing. So you have both elements of darkness and light on your side. So it's going to be a lot easier for you not only to just make decisions, but to stand on them. Okay. Also, when it comes to financial gains, okay, that you will not accept anything less than what it is that you need or what it is that you want. I don't see Aquarius as having any obstacles in regarding to making financial decisions, because I know Aquarius has gone through a lot already since Pluto has been in your sign. Okay. And it's only 2026. And I understand you can feel the sting of it a bit, but that sting is just going to motivate you, okay, to really get what it is that you want. Even through a transformation, never is going to stop. It's actually going to make you smarter, sharper, okay, and more integrated. Last but not least, my Pisces babies. So Pisces, you guys got the World card, and I love this for you. I really do, because the world has a lot to do with gratitude. You are a naturally grateful sign. You are naturally have a loving nature. This pretty much denotes to the lessons you've learned in your life up until this point. 2026 is going to be a breeze for you if you remember all the obstacles you've went through before this time. So if you're faced with the same obstacle this year that you faced 10 years ago, remind yourself that you got through that and how you got through that it's not gonna overpower you the same way that when you first encountered an issue. Okay, I don't see many issues for Pisces. I mean, the only thing that I would see for Pisces is that there might be some people that fall off in your life this year. You may notice a revolving door of people in your life when it comes to love, or when it comes to your career and your social circles. If you are married and attached, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about if you're single, you might be playing, square dancing a little bit this year, to the point where you start to see that people might just be cookie cutter, and might not be as spiritually as deep as you, or at least as authentic. But that's where you're going to find new levels, okay, higher levels of authenticity. Because you're going to see that a lot of people that you've kept around you, a lot of situations you put yourself in, are very cookie cutter, and they're kind of very what you've been told rather than what you think that it actually is. And I do know when a Pisces then is revealed the truth of something that they've been lied to about, like, you guys are the first ones to pack your bags and never be seen again. Okay? So... but I do feel at this point, people are going to pick up on, you understanding that things are not what they seem, and they're going to be too afraid to face you, and they just be like poof and be gone. So Pisces, do not take it super personal. It's just the universe getting rid of people that you might not have known were not good for you. It does feel good to stick around things and people that are familiar, but with the World card, it's really just kind of like you got to move in cycles. You got to move on, okay? And things need to refresh themselves, and things we need to learn to get to new levels and stuff. And some people cannot come with you to higher levels. So, like Pisces, you will be moving up a lot of spiritual levels this year in particular. Because when you focus on self, you start to see how deep you really are, and you begin to express how deep you really are. And when you do that, it reveals the people around you who are super shallow, or the situations you're in that are super shallow, and you can't swim in the shallow end. All right, my lovies, so that is the zodiac predictions of the tarot for all 12 signs. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and you can always book a personal reading at mysticalcharms.com. I will see you in the next episode of Universal Spirit. See you, lovies. Happy New Year.